laughing aloud now, magic in the air. Wands roll around us, cast away our care. Friends in the hallways, adventures we find. Spells and enchantments, trouble on our mind. That's so wizard.
Christopher Perkins is not leaving Wizards of the Coast, unfortunately. What's up, nerds? It's your boy, the OG GM, coming to you live from Site B at about 9:30 in the morning on this, the 22nd day of October, 2024. It's about 65 degrees and gorgeous outside, other than the Santa Anas. And of course, the chainsaw-wielding tree people are here again because apparently where I live hates trees. But that's not what is important. We've got some Wizards of the Coast news regarding our friend Christopher Perkins. I know people have a lot of mixed feelings about Christopher Perkins. I've said time and time again my feelings about Christopher Perkins. He's one of the last people at Wizards of the Coast I still have faith in and give a damn about. And for the longest time, I keep saying he doesn't look happy. He doesn't look healthy. He doesn't want to be there. I think he should leave. And a lot of other people are like, he should leave. And when he announced that he was stepping down as gaming architect and that the Dungeon Master's Guide for 2024 was going to be the last product he was working on, a lot of people are like, he's leaving. He's leaving, right? He's leaving Wizards of the Coast. And, you know, most of the people like me were like, yes, he absolutely should leave Wizards of the Coast. I think there's a lot of people who agree with me that he does not look happy. He does not look healthy. He does not look like he wants to be there. So most of the responses were good riddance, or I hope he moves on to better things. I hope he moves on to happy. Well, unfortunately, he is remaining at Wizards of the Coast. He is stepping down as gaming architect. The 2024 Dungeon Master's Guide will be the last book he works on as product lead. He is now the creative director of Wizards of the Coast, Dungeons and Dragons specifically, which will give him a more broader, more overview, more behind the scenes gig that lets him do things maybe out of the public eye. The last person of any note to hold this position was, of course, the Mike Mearls, who held the position until 2018 before moving on to Magic the Gathering and then slowly being just, we know how Wizards treated Mike. And which also, when Mike left as creative director, is pretty much by many people considers the end of 5e being any good. So yes, what does this mean behind the scenes? Does this mean we'll see less of him on screen when they do the thing with Jeremy Crawford? God, I hope so. Does this mean he'll have more time to do Acquisitions Incorporated and live plays and work with the people he seems to enjoy working with? God, I hope so. Does this mean maybe he's taking some time off to rest and recover and put on some fucking weight and not look like he needs a hug and a sandwich? Because every time I see the guy, it's like he needs a hug and a sandwich. And the only time he ever looks happy from my point of view is when he's on stage with the Acquisitions Incorporated people or doing the other stuff away from Wizards, when he's just playing and running and hanging out with his friends and being Christopher Perkins. Now, I have absolutely no knowledge whatsoever in regards to any aspect of Mr. Perkins' life. So anything I say is purely my stupid brain. So do not take me and misquote me and like stuff. And I said, but whatever. I don't know the first thing about Chris Perkins. I've spoken to him 3 times in my entire life via text. I'm sure he doesn't know who I am. I just know that he's the last guy still working there that I have give a damn about. And, I look at him and I'm like, dude, he's not happy. He's not healthy. But again, that's just me. So do not take my words out of context. What does creative director mean? Well, it's an actual job as opposed to gaming architect, which is a job that Jeremy Crawford made up. But yeah, just especially means he'll be doing more things, more behind the scenes. He'll have more say in the way things go. But if the previous gaming creative directors are any signpost of how Wizards and Hasbro treats them, it also puts him in a position where it's highly more likely that Wizards/Hasbro will just sort of go, nope, I'm just going to push you over here. You just over here. Yeah, just over here. Just stand here. Just over there. Yeah, just slowly push him out of the limelight and push him into forced retirement. I don't know. I think a lot of us were secretly hoping he was going to leave Wizards and maybe go work for Acquisitions Incorporated full time, or just take a break. I don't know. Very few people had anything negative to say when we posted the news. Now, in regards to the rumor that Mercer would be taking over as product lead and taking Chris Perkins' job, because we thought Chris Perkins was leaving. Well, it turns out Chris Perkins is not leaving. Will Matt Mercer continue as a consultant the same way he consulted on the DM's guide? Sure, why wouldn't he? Would Matt Mercer give up everything he has here in California to go work for Wizards of the Coast in a full-time corporate job after living the dream and reaching the point where he is? I don't see any reason why. Now, when this rumor about Mercer start leaving behind Critical Role, Darrington Press, and going to work for Wizards of the Coast, there's basically two responses. Response number one was the response I and several people like me gave. Could not see any reason why he would give up what he has to, in my opinion, take a step down to go work for Wizards, even part-time or full-time. First off, it'd be a slap in the face to the industry after everything he said over the past couple of years about his relationship with Wizards of the Coast. He just cut ties with Wizards. He has complete creative control over all his creations. He has an amazing deal with Amazon, plus his voice acting stuff, plus his life is here in California. Why would he give that all up to go work a 9-to-5 Monday through Friday corporate job for Wizards of the Coast, knowing how Wizards of the Coast treats their employees? Well, you could take this multi-million-dollar life you're living right now, where you can do whatever you want, and you have complete creative control over Critical Role, Mighty Nine, Hell's Bells, all the other stuff. Or you could go work for that D&D in Seattle for less money. Yeah, and I don't see that happening. But that said, so the responses were either my response, I can't see any reason why Mercer would go work for Wizards of the Coast. And the other responses were basically, good. He should go work for Wizards of the Coast. He should finish what he started. He's the guy that started the destruction of D&D, so he should go to Wizards and finish the destruction of D&D. And then maybe he could just restart D&D. And some people are like, oh yeah, Matt Mercer should buy D&D. He could do a better job with it. Mercer will never, Wizards of the Coast will never sell D&D. Hasbro will never sell D&D. Hasbro will destroy Wizards of the Coast by 2:30, but no, they're never going to sell D&D, and they shouldn't sell it to Mercer. Why would Mercer want D&D when he has Exandria and Teloria and the Amazon stuff? It was not a positive outpouring. I think there's maybe one response that I saw was like that him going to work for Wizards would have been a good thing because maybe he could save D&D. But everybody else was just either don't go or good, I hope he goes because he's the guy that started the end of D&D and he should be the one that finishes destroying D&D. And then the usual Critical Role is the worst thing that ever happened to D&D. Bullshit. So yeah, back up to the beginning of the story. Christopher Perkins is not leaving Wizards of the Coast. He's not quitting. It's either a good thing or a bad thing. He will be taking over the position of creative director and no longer be product lead. So he will not be working directly on single projects anymore, but more generally just directing the creativity, generally having a overview position where he can do less hands-on and more behind the scenes and maybe less media and more just doing stuff he loves instead of sitting there in these articles with Crawford and Todd and trying to look like he does not want to be there. Again, 100% my opinion. I have no actual insight into the workings of Christopher Perkins' brain or physical health. So do not take my words as gospel. This is simply me spouting off from my observations and my perception and what I think. But I don't know for sure. I have no connection with Wizards. I have no connection with Perkins. So don't put words in my mouth and don't say that, well, the OGGM did. That just gets everybody in trouble. But yeah, no more product lead, now creative director. Hopefully that means better office, more money, more control over what he wants to do. I don't know. I wish the guy only the best, right? But there is the final nail in that story for now. If the more information regarding the rumor that Mercer would be taking over as product lead is in any way, shape, or form followed up for him, we will try and jump on it as soon as we can. But right now, I haven't heard anything else other than this rumor. I don't see why Mercer would leave leave California and leave Darrington Press for Seattle and Wizards. It feels like a step down. It feels like a slap in the face, but I don't know. I can't tell you what Mercer is or isn't going to do. Mercer, I don't have any control over Mercer's life. He's an adult. He can do whatever he wants. And if he thinks that's the best choice for his future, go ahead. Do it, dude. Do what's best for you and your family. Ooh, I got comments. Oh, it's just Cat Monroe saying hello, and he will oversee. Yes, he will oversee whatever future products, at least for now. So whatever Wizards has for 2025, 2026 planned for D&D, I don't know. I think we're getting another Dragon book and a Forgotten Realms book, maybe. I don't know. They haven't really told us what we're getting after Monster Manual. He'll be like, oh, yes, I'm overviewing it. Hopefully it's a good thing for Perkins, and hopefully it's a good thing for D&D. In 2024 D&D, under Chris Perkins as creative director. Maybe he'll take over for Crawford, and Crawford can be the one that they shuffle into the back room and just forget about, him and Mackenzie. And, I'll just be like, nope, you've ruined us. We've given you enough time. Anyways, there's my 2 cents on this nonsense. If you appreciate it, let me know. If you don't appreciate it, you let me know. If you never want to hear about this information ever again, until next time. I know it's so weird. We're talking about this on Tuesday when normally we talk about it on Wednesday, but that's so Wizards.
Laughing aloud now, magic in the air. Wands roll around us, cast away our care. Friends in the hallways, adventures we find. Spells and enchantments, trouble on our mind.